So our next speaker is Daria Sheik. Daria went to UC Santa Cruz. She's the youngest member of our cohort this year. So it's not surprising that she decided to build an app for her project. Daria's name is Daria Hana, which means Sea of Hope in Farsi. And the title of her presentation is Key Conservation, Empowering Hope, a mobile platform for the scientific community to engage in global conservation solutions.
Great. Thanks, Samantha, and thank you, everyone, for coming today. So when I was an undergraduate at UC Santa Cruz, I was fortunate enough to travel to the island of El Pardito and research critically endangered hawksbill turtles. And while I was there, I was like, this is it. This is my foot in the door. I'm going to research turtles the rest of my life. I'm going to live on a tiny island, and I'm never going to talk to anyone again. But when I got back, what actually stuck with me from the trip were the fishermen that we were working with. And these fishermen had historically hunted these turtles for their beautiful shells and as a source of income. But when scientists started visiting this island and realizing how many turtles there were, they began paying the fishermen to help them with their research and help them find them and catch them. And this relationship really inspired me when I came to Scripps, because I couldn't stop thinking, can this model be replicated around the world? And what would it take to make this model happen? How can we create relationships between researchers and local communities? And so in the age of the internet, I thought, is it going to be a website? Is it going to be an email listserv? Or is it going to be an app? And by a turn of fate, I found the San Diego-based organization Key Conservation. And Key Conservation is an organization that is creating a mobile application that aims to connect conservation organizations and people around the world to each other, which is awesome. And as someone who's worked in conservation in San Diego since I was about 15, whenever people would ask me, well, where should I go? What can I do to help? What should I do? I never really had an answer. I couldn't list more than a few organizations. So when I saw Key Conservation's mobile app, I thought, okay, now I can tell people there's an app for that. And Key Conservation's really cool. I think a lot of us see everything on Facebook, Instagram, everything's going wrong. The planet's dying, whales are dying, turtles are dying. But there are so many people on the ground that are doing so much to try and help this, and we're not giving people around the world a way to help with that. And so what Key Conservation does is gives actionable steps to help with conservation. So there are 3 ways to do it. You can give it through donating money, and that's to a specific project, like getting dive tanks for a reef survey, or through skilled impact, like designing a website for a campaign or creating a video. And also in-person help. So let's say a field patrol vehicle went down. They could send you a notification and you could go out and actually help these people. So this is happening in real time, and people can get involved locally or globally. And I thought, okay, this is as cool as it gets. But what we're missing is the scientists that are also working so hard towards conserving species. And they often don't get to reach out to the public as much as maybe they should, and as much as they want to, possibly. And they also don't get to source skills and help from the public as well. So my capstone really focused on, how do we go from making the app like this to this? And thanks, guys. So I had to answer a lot of questions with this. I'm working within a platform that already existed. Key Conservation was totally designed when I started with them, which is a benefit in some ways. I didn't have to think of a style. A lot of this was made, but I also had to think, all right, how are researchers going to benefit from this and work within the framework that's already there? So I spent a lot of time speaking to labs here at Scripps, in Santa Cruz. Our director, Megan, was in Oxford, and she was speaking to people. And we came up with the key sort of needs that we saw a lot of people saying. So these were separate from what was so there were things already in the app, but this is separate from that. And this is what we thought we needed to add on to these researcher profiles. And so instead of listing these all off to you, I figured I would show you what a researcher profile looks like instead, because it's a little bit more fun, and I had to learn graphic design, so. And so we're going to use our very own Dr. Jen Smith just to show you the researcher profile for this. And Dr. Smith is someone that we really think would be on the app and that we want to have on the app because she's traveling a lot, she's working at Scripps, and also she's partnered with the 100 Island Challenge that creates 3D images of coral reefs all around the world. And so she interacts directly with communities wherever she goes. So this is what Jen's profile might look like. You can see a little bit about her, organizations she's working with, and you can see who she's going to be connected to. So these connections are split up into organizations and then also people that she's connected to specifically, both researchers and normal global supporters. Not normal, they're great too. And we can also see where Jen is. And this was really important to a lot of people because you're traveling all the time and you're like, who's here even? And so you can see currently with these green arrows that Jen's at Scripps, but the yellow one signifies she might be going to Palmyra soon, and she's working on a Palau project, but she won't be there anytime soon. Another thing that was really important to a lot of people was having an emergency contact when they are in the field in case something happens. So that's geotagged, and Jen has the option of making that public or not. You can see events that she might be a part of or hosting, and what inspired me to create the app is this local knowledge part, where people can reach out to Jen and ask her, who should I know here, and what customs should I respect, and or even where should I eat dinner tonight, which is always a huge thing for me. And so it's not only that, but we can see more about Jen through her details. And someone who, like a global supporter who's looking at it, can see what she's working on and who she's working with. She's a part of the Coral Specialist Group, and she's searchable by these habitats that she's working with. And these big issues you can send out, there's more info on that that's accessible to people who don't have a science background. And another part of this that was really important to us was making scientific journals accessible to people because not everyone can pay for them. And so this is huge. These are free. If someone wants to know more about what she's doing, they can access it. She can also post jobs that might be available, and she's searchable by these hashtags that she chooses. So that's just what the researcher profile looks like on its own, and that's separate from the app as a whole. But I want to show you how someone might interact with the app as a researcher. So let's say I applied to the job at the Smith Lab that Jen posted on the app, and I got the job, and I'm so excited, and 100 Island Challenge is sending me to the Bahamas, but I've never been. I don't know anyone there. And so I can go down to this in-person part of the app, and I can say, okay, I'm going to the Bahamas. Like, who's going to be there? So I click that I'm going to the Caribbean, and I can see who's there within a 15-mile radius of where I said, any projects that are going on or groups that I might want to be a part of. And what I realize is, oh my gosh, our very own Hannah lives in the Bahamas, and I totally forgot. And Hannah's the director of a field station there. So now that I'm there, I can contact Hannah. I can see where I need to stay, who I need to meet with. But I also need someone who can fly a drone. And Hannah doesn't know anyone, and I don't know anyone, and I don't trust myself with a drone either. So what I can do is go to our skilled impact section, and I can search for boating skills, a drone, scuba diving, and then I get to filter these results based on where I am. And now I see, okay, there are 15 people here that can fly a drone. Now I have 15 people I can talk to that'll fly a drone for me. And I'm able to send an update to the live feed on Key Conservation. And thanks to Bert, I was able to get aerial surveys in the Bahamas. But it doesn't end here. I also want to reach out to the community while I'm here. And so the cool thing about a place like the Bahamas and with this app is the Bahamas isn't only local people, it's also tourists that are coming in. They have a huge tourism value. And when people come in, they might want to know, like, oh, what should I be doing? There's groups I want to be a part of. And so I can create an event through our in-person, and I want to create a school fundraiser to take some students out to see what 100 Island Challenge is doing. And there's going to be live music at the event. We're partnering with Beyond the Surface International to create films about the students when we take them out, and I can invite my connections as well. And after the event, I'm able to send everyone that's following me an update. And we can see we were able to take 10 students, or we were able to buy 10 cameras and take 50 students out to see this reef. Without this app, none of these might have happened. So I really believe that connection is the key to conservation solutions. And like Samantha said, and my parents so aptly named me, I am a sea of hope that these conservation issues that we're facing today are solvable, and the Key Conservation app is creating a platform for people to take action. Thank you. I do want to give a few quick thank yous, first and foremost to the director of Key Conservation, Megan Cromp, who has been just invaluable in this process and given me every tool I could ever need and all the support I could ask for, and just letting me run with this, which is awesome. And Antonella Pisani, who isn't here right now, but has been really helpful with our tech and business side of this, as well as Dr. Jennifer Smith, who's been crucial in researcher input. Thanks to my cohort, my family, my friends, and I do have funding to continue working on this over the summer, and Key is in development. So hopefully this time next year you all will have it. Questions? Crystal.
Daria, this is awesome.
Thanks.
So what is the plan for the next steps? Is there going to be more development, like you said, a rollout, some kind of marketing so that it actually builds enough of a community that people can benefit from it?
So we actually have partnerships with organizations right now and researchers who want to be on board, but we are waiting to finish development before we do that. So we might roll out, kind of a base app and then move from there. Right now, it's development that's most important. Thanks.